Wait for moon.
Hey everyone, welcome to the fourth stream of Argonauts Awoken. We are very excited to celebrate our month anniversary tonight. I am Mr. D&D, your DM, and I'd like to remind our audience that we are playing a highly modified version of the 5th edition rule set of Dungeons and Dragons. Tonight, we have one of our guest performers joining us. In addition to our core cast of 6, we have Henita returning as we continue to involve other members of our drama club. In these instances, when we bring in a guest performer, we have some scripted elements that they perform, along with some improvising that they may be doing throughout the course of the evening. Now, for our new viewers, tonight is a big night. Over the last 24 hours, our characters have been invited to this mysterious school, the Lake Tahoe Academy for Troubled Youth, where they have seen some amazing and some might say magical things. The initiates have traveled from all across the country and arrived here in Tahoe to face 3 challenges. The first was a lifting of the veil of magic and a peek into what the world might really be like. The second, a massive test where they were given an hour to complete several questions, including many unsettling ones that were very personal. And the last, which we completed at the end of last week, was a physical challenge to overcome a wild animal that was terrifying for some of our initiates and surprising for most. Let us begin tonight. After a few hours in the locker room, after your arena appearance, enjoying dinner and a party-like atmosphere, things begin to change on the monitors that allow you to watch the arena. There appears to be several people setting up some sort of stage in the arena. You can't make out much about the features of the specific faces of most of these people because the shots are very wide shots, but the people are all of various shapes and sizes. A few of the people appear very small, and another one, you can swear, has a tail that looks like it might be a giant lizard person. One student sits in a wheelchair, and they look like they're a cat person with speckled fur. And they move about directing people and will often reach out a hand as if helping from a distance. A blonde girl with her hair in a high ponytail that bounces as she moves follows a teacher you recognize as Jade and helps set up chairs in front of several flags on the stage. Ferg enters carrying a backless chair that appears to be made of polished marble, and he sets it down in the far right corner of the stage. And a small boy comes up, running with several golden white cushions, placing them on the stone chair. Multiple flags have been erected along the backs of the stage, and the golden-eyed teacher looks over them with a green-skinned young person next to him, who seems to adjust the flags and take notes from the teacher. A chair sits in front of each flag, and what looks like a toddler runs around placing cushions on these simple wooden chairs that match the color schemes of the flags behind them. Eventually, all of the motion starts to settle down, and you see the teachers sit into the chairs with one of the several students that have been milling about that stand next to them, taking up a position very near to them. This image is replaced with the face of a refreshed-looking Henita who speaks in an almost joyful tone.
Initiates, you have done well. It is time to come forth and face the first of several important, life-changing decisions that you will make over the next month and years. Join us in the arena.
The door slides open, and you begin to follow the other initiates up back into the arena. Between the hushed whispers, Henita's speech, and your own nervousness, you sense that what you are about to experience will be one of the most important moments of your life. As you walk back into the arena where you faced a wild beast just hours ago, what are you thinking about right now? Alaya.
I'm thinking, where can this possibly go from here? I've already been introduced to magic. These people know way too much about me. I just shot a lot of air out of my hands. And I'm just honestly, what could possibly surprise me?
Luna.
Bro, if all this magic stuff is real, then this is really weird.
Zamora.
It feels like everything they say is the most important thing of our lives. Like, can we do something not important for once, for one time, please?
Stevie.
She said something about decisions, and I'm barely allowed to decide what I like wear and get dressed in the morning, so I'm very scared. I'm not used to making my own decisions.
Moon?
I'm still stunned from earlier, so I have no thoughts.
When you enter the arena, there is an roar of applause that is overwhelming in this cavernous space. As you walk in, you can see above the arena in the stands, they are full of people, and they all wear the colors that you see on the flags. I'm sorry, I skipped Luke. Luke, what are you thinking? You were my last one on my list.
I think the thoughts on my mind are that everything in my life has kind of led up to this point, and I'm just really excited to see what happens.
And as you are thinking that, you too feel this roar of sound as you walk into the arena. And there are sections filled with people. And again, all of these people wear the colors that match the flags that are on the stage. The first section of students are clad in copper and red, and they are whooping and screaming and making sounds that are reminiscent of battle cries from all of the cultures around the world. Give me 1 second. We're just having a minor quick difficulty, but we'll get it back in right now. So this first section of students, clad in copper and red, again, whooping and screaming and making these sounds reminiscent of battle cries from all over the world. The next group, right next to them, are students clad in gold and blue. They applaud in a much more serious and controlled tone, but even they applaud loudly and extremely enthusiastically. As you continue around the arena, looking at the audience, behind the teachers, directly in front of you, sits the largest group of students, clad in shades of white and yellow. This group cheers with a purity and abandon of spirit. They have no organization at all to their cheer. It's just pure and loud and a wall of sound. Each student in this group seems to be as if they're trying to lose their voice from their own enthusiasm. Next to this group are two groups that are rather unique in how they're cheering. The first group wears green and gray, and they hold up their hands. The left hand is in a fist, and the right hand open behind it. And they wiggle their fingers. And as they do this, they make a snake-like hissing sound. All of this together in unison creates a sound that is larger than its individual pieces. The very last group is even more odd. They sport the colors of silver and plum, and these students all moan and keen like the sounds of ghosts or the wailing dead. As the entire arena continues to cheer, Hanata stands and claps twice. The arena responds in unison with a double clap that matches hers, and together silence themselves and sit down. Hanata's voice booms out, filling the space.
Welcome, faculty, students, and initiates.
With this, there's another deafening cheer from the stands, and she silences them with a simple raise of her hand.
It is at this time where we welcome you to the school and begin to further peel away the veil for all of you.
At this, there is some snickering amongst the audience.
Peace, students. You were all once like these initiates, ignorant of the truth of the world, veiled and asleep like the huddled masses that we have sworn to protect. But just like you all did, today they make their choice.
She looks down at all of you, the initiates, and makes a welcoming gesture, the group, which had been hanging back several steps, to come closer. At this moment, as you've seen this massive collection of students, what are you feeling? Moon.
Nervous because swarms of I don't like crowds, so I'm very nervous and anxious, and realizing that there's a lot more of us out there because of what just happened was kind of insane. So like they're reacting so normally. I'm just kind of like, whoa.
Henita's gestured for you to move closer to the stage. When do you do that? Are you going to do that?
I'm very hesitant about it, but then I eventually move forward because I don't, there's no other choice for me now.
Luke, what's going through your head right now?
I'm looking out at this massive sea of students, and I'm really excited because look at how many friends I'm about to make. This is gonna be so much fun. And there might be some enemies along the way, but that's whatever. It's fine. So I'm kind of eager to go up.
Zamora?
I'm kind of annoyed because when we walked in, they kind of looked at us like we're little kids and we're not. Like, just because we're new here doesn't mean they have to treat us like the underdog. And it just kind of ticks me off a little bit.
As Henita invites you to come closer, what are your thoughts?
I do it because I'm not trying to look like I'm weak, because I'm not weak in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you. Luna?
Why are these kids so weird? Why are there so many of them? I don't know how I feel about all this. And there's so many of them. And they don't all seriously think that magic is real, right? Like that cat person is just wearing a costume, right? Like, isn't that like it's weird. I'm really hesitant to like move forward. And I'm probably one of the last people to do it, but eventually I do when I see everyone else's.
Thank you. Stevie?
I see all of these people and I expect myself to be really scared and nervous, but for some reason I feel kind of safe and I feel comfortable. So I think when Henita calls us up, I'm not the first to go forward, but I'm not the last either.
Nice, thank you. And Alaya?
I'm looking at all these kids and I'm like, maybe there really is something more to this. So I go and I stride on up there, kind of ready to see, like, this is going to get interesting, isn't it?
Thank you. Henita continues now in a welcoming tone.
You have already seen some amazing and unbelievable things today. Magic.
As she says this, Jade rises, plays an intense lick on her guitar, and in rhythm with her playing, fireworks launch from her guitar strings in a rainbow of colors overhead in the audience, and it creates impossible shapes and even animates these shapes and creatures above the audience.
Creatures of myth brought to life.
At this, Tara waves her hand, and the small dragon from before flies out over the crowd, doing barrel rolls and flips. After a moment, from the shoulder of the cat boy sitting next to her in the wheelchair rises a bird of red and orange feathers with blue accents, and as it begins to fly, its wings catch fire, and it dances an intricate ballet of fire and feather with the dragon as the audience stares in awe. Both land back where they started, to much applause. Henita smiles after the display and speaks again.
Inhuman feats.
With this, the lizard girl standing next to Rad in his seat walks out to the edge of the stage. It is clear that now she looks more like a dragon, but without wings and with black scales, wearing some sort of modified Catholic monk's robes. She throws her hood back and does a forward flip off the stage. She takes a full run toward the outer wall and runs a complete lap along the wall, literally running the entire length of the wall along the side of it, like Neo from the Matrix. She walks back casually to the stage, does a standing triple backflip onto the stage, and walks over to her position next to Rad, who gives her a subtle nod of appreciation. Henita composes herself and is serious once again.
It is now at this point that we can share with you some of the truths of this world before you must make the next big decision.
She takes a step forward to the edge of the stage, and as she does, Jade, the golden-eyed teacher, and Rad all stand behind her. Jade strikes a chord on her guitar, and an image of the snow-capped Sierra Nevadas appears overhead. Rad pulls forth a long, narrow rod of some dark material from his coat and holds it like a conductor's wand and mumbles some words, which causes a light snow to begin to fall on the image. The golden eye teacher removes his lapel pin, a golden ibis, and holds it out in front of themselves, just above the level of their head, and drops their head in prayer. As they do so, a flock of birds flies over the image. How do you react to seeing this, Luna?
What? Okay. If that is magic, they're being really extra about it. What the heck? This is really weird. This is still really weird.
Stevie?
Whoa. Just whoa. That's really cool. I'm just kind of awestruck.
Moon?
I also am like, whoa, but I'm also kind of not surprised because this day has been crazy already.
Elia?
I gotta learn how to do that.
Zamora?
Dinner and the show. Pretty legit.
And Luke?
I mean, it looks really cool, but I don't think I could do anything like that.
Henata speaks again, narrating as the image above her changes to display the story that she tells to you all.
Long ago, in a time before humanity can remember, what we know of as fiction and fantasy was real. Dragons, vampires, and the worst creatures walked among humans, dwarves, elves, and more exotic peoples. These peoples lived, loved, and thrived on the planet for centuries. However, they were in a constant battle with the evil. The evil and the good remained locked in balance throughout constant battles. However, eventually, the evil began to grow too powerful, and in an effort to stem the growing tide around the globe, a series of spells were cast.
As she narrates, the air above her projects the image of several circles of spellcasters. One circle surrounds a fire holding hands raised to the sky. Another circle surrounds a deer drawing daggers. Another very large group surrounds a lake. The creatures in these circles are all diverse in race and gender and represent all peoples that you have seen and many that you do not recognize.
Each spell layered on top of the others, each spell binding a different element of the evil, each spell strengthening the others. But a casting like this does not come without a cost.
As she speaks, the image shifts and energy begins to flow from the casters into the spell.
And so, to fuel this magic, the casters fed it with all the magics of all the people of all the world. Upon the completion of the spell, the earth broke, and the continents shifted back to their original positions, and life began anew, as if everything were reset.
An image of Pangea, the one continent Earth, plays out in the air above Henata.
With all magic gone, and all civilizations, diversity diluted down to one. The humans, those that cast the spell, thought they had saved the world and removed the evil. But the evil was strong and will always seek out a hold in even the purest of hearts.
Images of members of early civilizations stealing and killing play out above her.
Those that came before did not leave us unprotected, though. Several of the strongest and best among them survived. They were, at the time, before the spell that we call the sleep. Gods and many would be revered as such again and throughout time.
Images overhead show Roman soldiers standing strong beside a single leader. Egyptian people learning to practice their rituals from one who glows with golden divine light. And native peoples of many other lands all learning from people who radiate this divine presence.
Yet no spell is perfect. Few can explain why, and indeed, there are more theories than people can count, it seems. But from the moment it was cast, the spell began to slowly weaken, And with no more magic or magically inclined creatures on the planet, it continued to weaken. And odd things began to occur.
Here in the air above Heneto, we see the image of a child born with horns, another with a tail. The image of a dark-skinned man healing the sick and the blind with nothing more than dirt and prayers. An ancient Viking rushing into battle and striking down his foes. Images of Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and other urban myths play out. Of people lifting cars to save their families from other miraculous occurrences.
We developed ways of explaining away these things, calling them myths, legends, or dismissing them as hoaxes or hallucinations. Yet over time, groups of people with abilities, either spontaneously found or gifted down through bloodlines, began to come together to use their gifts to fight back the evil, as it too had gained power.
Now overhead are some truly gruesome images. First, a pole with just one word, Roanoke, written on it. Images of wars and crime, dark shadows abducting people into them, goblins and creatures of nightmare living in caves and struggling to survive. Hanita's voice takes a grave turn.
Recently, the spell has begun to grow exponentially weaker. And creatures that should not be able to exist are returning or awakening. But to our credit, so are we.
With this, a crest appears over the audience. It looks exactly like our stream logo, with various shapes and colors represented within it.
Over 160 years ago, some of the first European travelers crossed these mountains and into the Tahoe Basin. Many would perish, but a select few came seeking out someone that they had heard had a great power. These travelers were descendants of some of the greatest heroes and protectors that time had ever seen. They met this local woman, and together they built a school for heroes, a school that has stood over a century and a half, training those that would protect the good from the evil.
Now, the front sign from the Lake Tahoe Academy for Troubled Youth is created overhead in brilliant, true-to-life imagery.
For the safety of all, it was decided that a facade be invented to protect our charges, and thus the Lake Tahoe Academy for Troubled Youth was born. But as I'm sure you've deducted, we are far from a school for troubled youngsters. We are a training academy for heroes based in the Roman, Viking, and Loka traditions, founded by my ancestors, Fierg and Terra herself. We are Argonaut Academy.
With that is another huge cheer from the students in the audience. You've now witnessed this magical story and a abridged version of the history of the world and of this particular school, including elements that tell you that Terra has been around for over 160 years. Luna, how are you feeling right now?
Okay. I cannot believe they just said that a spell is what split up Pangea. First of all, it was over the course of like millions of years, and it was I am done. I am done. And the school's fake? What Argonauts? What is that? And Terra is not. Okay. I looked up to a lady who was like thousands of years old. What? I can't. I'm done.
Alaya, what are you thinking right now?
Oh boy. Reality just got a whole lot cooler.
Love your energy, Alaya. That's awesome.
I'm ready to dive in.
Luke, big stuff, heavy stuff. What are you thinking?
Dude, I mean, it's pretty cool. I didn't really get a lot of it, but I think I understood what most of it means. And that lady's really old, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Zamora.
Wow, that was a lot to take in, to be honest. I have a lot racing through my head. Ray told me I was going to an academy for troubled youth, and now I am thrown into a fantasy land. What is going on? But I have no choice but to believe them because I'm stuck here with no way out. So might as well just go with it.
Moon?
I knew it. I didn't know it, but I knew that there was nothing wrong with my sister, and I knew that, like I saw things and like I heard things and I knew I wasn't crazy. So I'm kind of getting like a I told you so feeling because I kind of want to just go home and tell my parents, be like, I was right. There's nothing wrong with me and I'm not troubled, and I'm very excited, but I'm also a little bit angry because I was kind of lied to my whole life, and the fact that we have to hide is making me upset.
And Stevie?
I'm also similar to Samora, feeling really overwhelmed. I can't get out of my mind what Henita said about magic being passed down through bloodlines. I'm a little terrified that I'm gonna have to like kill people like my dad, and I don't want to do that.
As you're all thinking this, on top of these intense thoughts, you have the weight of the sound of all of these students and this cheer going through the air. Henita holds out a hand again and the crowd hushes.
At this point, initiates, you have a pair of choices to make. The first I present to you now. You have seen much, learned much, and for some this may be too much. If that is you, and you want to go home to the reality you knew this morning, you can. You need simply to walk back out that door.
There's a brief moment after Henita gestures toward the locker room door you originally came into the arena the first time. As everyone stands, the audience completely silent. Then a few students move, some members of your group. These are ones who talked about failing the arena assessment in the locker room. Begin to move towards the door. A few more who have said nothing all day and seem to have been in shock. Also, like zombies, walk out the door. As you watch these students leave, do any of you join them?
I look at them and I watch them and I feel tempted because after that Pangea thing, this feels like a cult, but at the same time I saw so much today and I don't really know what I believe anymore, and I'm really curious, even if this all sounds really weird and cultish and wrong. I want to know more because there's a whole another world that I don't know about and I need to know more.
Anyone else? Thoughts going through your head as you watch these students leave, walk away?
There's a small part of me that considers it, but again, I think about what Henita said about bloodlines, and I know that if I want to not be like my father and learn how to control whatever it is that could have been passed down to me, then I need to stay here.
In the back of my head, I kind of want to go with them, but Ray wants me to be here, and I know she wouldn't do me wrong. And she didn't raise a quitter, so I'm gonna go through this, and I'm gonna graduate.
I noticed that they're walking like zombies, and I'm like, I realize that it almost seems like they're not moving by their will, so I feel like I know that I somehow have been kind of chosen, like they know that I'll go with them. So I go.
Well, are you saying you walk with the people that are leaving?
No. I'll stay. Sorry.
Okay.
That's what I meant. No.
Make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Luke and Moon, do you have thoughts you want to share with us? No, Moon's just thinking, watching people leave?
I feel a little sad for the people that are leaving, but and I almost feel tempted to reach an arm out and be like, "Hey, guys, like, what are you doing?" But I kind of stay silent.
The audience and teachers are silent as the leaving students complete their exit. A moment hangs in the air of silence as the entire room awaits anybody else making the same decision, any last people to make a choice. And after a final moment, awaiting any others that may leave, Heneta speaks again.
Now initiates. Your next choice will shape the rest of your educational time with us. At Argonaut Academy, all students are a member of a guild. Our guilds give us pride. They define us and strengthen us. Our guilds are our classmates, families, research partners, and fellow heroic adventurers. Each guide holds true, certain ideals and certain ununiting factors, and each student must select a guild. You will be presented with the choice between two guilds by the leaders that feel that you would be best into their guild. However, before we begin, I present to you our guild leaders, the teachers in charge of the guild to present their guilds.
Very quickly, you are now hearing you have to make a decision that will affect the rest of your educational career within this institution. Alaya, what are you thinking?
I think it's kind of running through my head. Oh boy, which one am I going to choose? I feel like I'm kind of nervous on what I think I'm going to choose.
Also, remember, you have gotten hints as I ask this question to you all that this is not just like a high school. This isn't 4 years of school. This is potentially 8 years at least, because you had someone mentioned as an 8th year student. So this is a very large decision. Zamora, what are you thinking?
We for real just got here. Like, why? I don't even, like, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone that just got here. But I guess I have to do it. So I don't really, yeah.
Luke?
I really liked Ferg. Like, he was a cool guy. So I'm probably thinking that's going to be one of my choices, but I'm totally open to, whoever comes up to me.
Moon.
I'm very anxious because all I want is answers. So I'm scared if I choose the wrong place, I'm never going to get what I came here for.
Luna.
Guilds. Magic school. Let's just get all into the magic school stuff. Okay. I'm a stereotypical YA chosen one protagonist now. Okay. I guess I thought I could trust Tara. I guess I would go to Tara's guild. But then she betrayed me with a dragon, and then I thought I could trust her again. And then she betrayed me with her age. I don't know. I only know Tara, I think.
Stevie.
Do I have to pick a guild? Because the way she just described them sounds like how my dad used to talk to me about church when I was little. And I'm not sure I want to be a part of that.
As you're thinking this, Ferg stands from his chair in his very solid frame. Again, shorter than you initially met him, Luke, in his purest form, covered in his Celtic tattoos, wearing his kilt. And he says, Ferg says, I present to you the Guild of the Dragon. And with this, there's a flash of flame as the flag behind Ferg changes. It changes into a copper triangle, and within that shape is a red dragon blowing a burst of flame. You hear the dragons erupt, our red and copper colored students, and a collection of different battle cries in response. He roars a brutal, bestial roar, and they silence. The dragons are the fiercest, bravest, and boldest fighters and casters in all of Argonaut Academy. We strike first, hardest, and fastest, fueling our actions with our rage, our passion, and our arts. To destroy our foes, with the might of our blades and our magics. For the only way to stop the evil is to destroy it. And the dragons cry out one more time from their spot in the arena. And again, Ferg nods politely to the golden-eyed teacher, and Ferg sits down. The golden-eyed teacher rises, and the green-skinned student standing next to him pulls out a golden tassel from the flag behind them. And a blue square unrolls behind the golden-eyed teacher with a golden lion-headed sphinx standing in profile on the blue background of the square. I, Raketi, present the Guild of the Noble Sphinx with this. The sphinxes erupt in strong applause with no vocalizations. We, in the Guild of the Sphinx, are some of the brightest minds in all of Argonauts Academy. We believe that knowledge is the key to all success. Our view is that from knowledge, we can heal, we can defend, we can invent, and we can rebuild all that may fall in this world. We welcome any that value defending others and seeking out knowledge for knowledge's sake, for it is through that wisdom that the evil may be stopped. The sphinxes applaud loudly again, and Raketi sits and gestures for Tara to take the floor. Tara rises, and as she does, the boy in the wheelchair points to the flagpole behind her, and the phoenix sitting on his chair flaps up to it, pulls a string, and unfurls a flag that presents a bright yellow circle with a white, jellyfish-looking creature on it. Tara speaks and says, I welcome you to consider the Guild of the Flump. And with that, the Flumps go crazy. They cheer, they applaud, they make animal sounds. They sound like a intense group of people who have no leadership, but want to cheer for cheering's sake. Tara then waits a moment as the cheering subsides and says, over 160 years ago, when I helped to build Argonaut Academy, I was already a steward of this place. As one who is of this place and has been for several centuries, I took my responsibility and I brought it to the Guild of the Flump. As Flumps, we welcome all. Every person, creature, and plant is welcome within our guild. And we believe that it's through our connections to other people, creatures, and especially this land that we can save it all from the evil. Flumps pride ourselves on our huge and welcoming hearts, where there is the space for all who wish to enter. With this, the Flumps burst into celebration again, and it's pandemonium. The volume of just the Flumps alone seems to fill the space more than the entire school cheering together. Tara gives a bright and warm smile to Jade and takes her seat. Before Jade can even speak, the gray and green guild seated in a more shadowy part of the arena has already stood and in unison raised both hands over their heads, the right wiggling their fingers again. And they are all hissing. Jade, visibly the youngest of the teachers, really gets into this. Her bright red skin seems to shine, and her black red ram's horns sway. And she listens to the hisses. I lead the Guild of the Medusa. And as she says this, she joins in the gesture and hissing, and the sound crescendos. She breaks the gesture sharply, and as she does it, the Medusa's all quiet. We Medusas are snakes in the grass, silver-tongued musicians, and blades hidden behind backs. Medusas are the most cunning, sly, and tricky of all of Argonaut Academy. You may see us coming and be mesmerized by our songs and words, or we may be hidden in the shadows, one with the darkness. We believe that to destroy the evil, it must not suspect you, and that you may take from it and give to those who need. One thing is true for all Medusas. If you know we are there, it's already too late. And with a cocky swagger of a rock star, Jade saunters back to her chair. Hanata smiles a proud smile at Jade and then gestures to Rad.
And finally, Dr. Tepps.
Rad stands, and with a flippant wave of his hand toward the flagpole behind him, from nowhere, a flag appears. It is a dark plum diamond shape, and on it is a silver skull. He says, "We are the Guild of the Undying Lich." With this, the moans, wails, and keens of the Lich students begin again. It sounds blood-curdling and terrifying. Yet at the same time, the longer you listen to it, the more you hear a musicality, a slightly beautiful if terrifying sound, as if it was written at some point, organized and rehearsed. Rad holds out a bony finger and stops the guild's cheer with a gesture. The Lich are the most dedicated and devoted mages in all of the academy. Lich believe that though their magic, through their magic, they can strike down the evil. And if not, then they will die and rise again to try once more. The most determined of the guilds, the Lich know that death is only one more trial that the evil must be overcome. The Lich know that life and death are part of a cycle, and that to control and manipulate that is the truest way to defeat the evil. Rad takes a half bow as the Guild of the Lich begins their chorus of ghostly wails again, and sits down. Hanata rises again and claps twice. And again, the whole school double claps and silences itself.
Thank you, guild leaders. Now, students, we move to your decisions. One by one, you will be called forward. Once on the stage, 2 guild leaders will offer you a position within their guild based on your assessments today. You must then select the guild that you will join. Keep in mind that changing a guild is extremely rare and hard to do, so this decision is very important.
You've now heard quite a bit about these guilds from the leaders themselves. What are you thinking right now, Luke?
I don't think there's any way that I'm going into that knowledge guild, because that's really not my thing. But I'm still really excited about Farag.
Moon, thoughts as you've learned about the guilds?
I like Tara.
Tara.
But Tara. I like Tara, but I also really vibe with Jade. So I'm kind of conflicted right now.
Zamora.
Honestly, I don't think I want to go into any guild because I'm not used to new people. But what Jade said about taking from people and giving back to those in need kind of struck a nerve in my heart, because that's kind of what I do my whole life. So I feel like I would be most comfortable and at home with her, but I'm not sure yet, because it's one choice that can define my whole high school experience here.
Elia.
I thought that Fergus was very passionate, but I also thought that also kind of knowing Jade a little bit more than the others, and I felt like it especially rang in my head that last line when she was like, if you know that we're there, it's already too late. I just thought that was so cool. So I feel like I'm really leaning towards that.
Stevie.
I was originally really hesitant about the idea of joining a guild because it sounded weird and kind of cultish. But these people all seem so passionate about it. Maybe I could make a few friends.
Luna?
Magic school guilds. I really liked Sphinx's message, to be honest. I do, if I'm here for knowledge, then maybe I should be in the guild that pursues knowledge. But they also sound a little boring. I also really resonated with what Tara said about Flumph. And it sounds fun there, but I don't know if I can trust her yet. I don't know if I can trust those kids. They're very weird. I'm not sure.
As you all rack your brains about this information that was just thrown at you so quickly, Henita looks to the guild leaders and speaks.
Well, it has been a long day. Let us not delay anymore. Luke Lawson, first to assess in the arena. First to choose. Come on up.
Luke, you've been invited up onto the stage, and you look on the stage, and as you take a moment to look at it, you notice that there is a round brown carpet right center stage. And Henita is gesturing to it. What do you do?
I'm going to walk over to the brown carpet.
While you slowly walk to the carpet, you can hear the sound of a rumble. From the Guild of the dragons have already begun to stomp their feet in anticipation of your arrival on the stage. Ferg stands and the rumble softens under his voice, but continues as he speaks. Congratulations, Boyo. Your performance today was everything I'd expected. Your bravery in the face of the wolf and willingness to take up arms when needed is just what the dragons look for. Join the Guild of the Dragon, and we can teach you how to harness your strength and power and how to channel it to tear down all of the evils of the world. The dragons silence, and there's a moment as the teachers await the second to stand, and Tara rises, almost directly in front of you. And there's a quick one-breath cheer from the guild behind her, and they silence. Luke Lawson, we have yet to meet, but after reading your assessment test, it is clear to me that you would be a natural Flumph. Your answers indicate that you feel deeply for all the people of your life and protecting them with all your heart. Your kindness is something that we in Flump could nurture and teach you how to become one of the purest protectors of all people from the evil. Tara stands opposite Ferg, effectively making the third point of a triangle with you. Ferg speaks again. It is time to make your choice, Boyo. Dragon or Flumph?
Suddenly I'm feeling like so nervous that that like my hands kind of start to shake. So I kind of press my palms against my jeans. And I'm kind of standing there looking back and forth between Tara and Ferg. And then finally I take a deep breath and I say, I choose the Guild of the Dragon.
And with this, you see Ferg, he very much tries to control himself, but his hand clenches in pride for a second. And he says, congratulations, Boyo. Welcome to the Guild of the Dragon. And you hear the dragons roar again this time, and their war cries sound out amongst the arena. And he, with them, lets out a big primal roar. And he says, look, you may go take your place right over there under the banner of the Guild of the Dragon. And across from where you're standing, along the arena wall, are 5 banners, each representing each of the guilds. The copper and red dragon banner is at the end, across from where you, across from you at the end. You've been told where to go. What do you do? And how do you leave the stage?
Are there like stairs to the stage?
There are
or-
definitely stairs. There's stairs on it. There's also, you could take a jump. It's only a couple of feet if you wanted to.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hop off and then I'm gonna walk over to my banner.
When you get to the banner, you notice there's a basket underneath it. And in that basket, there are some hats with the guild logo on it, some scarves, a couple of t-shirts. Do you take anything and put it on?
I'm definitely gonna put on like the hat, but backwards.
You take out the baseball cap, you put it on backwards, and all of the dragons cheer because you've embraced the guild, and they're very, very excited. Thus begins the calling of the names, and it calls several more. And after a while, after each guild has gone, there's 1 or 2 students under each guild. Henita says,
Moon, Cobain, and Poison, step forward and receive your offer.
Moon, what do you do?
I step forward.
As you step forward and begin to head toward the circle, you notice that unlike Luke, where there were clear cheers from the dragon, the audience is significantly less vocal. You can barely hear what sounds like whispers coming from around the arena circle. And as you stand on the carpet marked for the initiates, there is a beat where no one moves as you await the first teacher to stand. Tara smiles and stands. Moon, with your caring heart and already strong bond with Poison, she says with a smirk, it is with great pride I extend an invitation to both you and Poison to the Guild of the Flump. Again, the Flumps cheer wildly, and she holds out a hand. As a Flump, I can teach you how to train in harmony with Poison to protect our world and others from the evil. Tara stands, and the Flumps quiet down even more. Again, there's another longer pause than we've seen before, and you begin to hear a hissing sound as the Medusas clearly think that the girl with the snake belongs with them. Yet it is Raketti that rises from their chair and steps forward, his golden eyes gently glowing. Moon Cobain, you are a hard one to peg, and for the first time in quite a while, I had to fight to make a student an offer. But I extend to you an offer to join the Guild of the Sphinx. Confused, yet polite applause comes from the Sphinx section of the arena. Jade and I had quite the heated conversation, but ultimately, I fought to offer you to a place in Sphinx, for I believe that your desire to protect people and gain the knowledge of your sister would lead you to achieve great things against the evil, and that I and the Sphinxes could help lead you on that path. Tara steps forward, forming that same triangle again, and nods at you and Poison, and says, well, you two, where shall you stake your alliance? Moon, what do you do?
I need a moment to think, because I really thought I was going to vibe, like everyone thought I was going to vibe with Jade, but that was not what I expected. I have I have a lot of thoughts in my head right now.
Ask your questions. This is your time. You also have a second person that you can consult too.
Well, the Guild of the Sphinx referenced my sister, which I talked to Poison because I actually can't collect my thoughts.
Interestingly enough, as you talk to Poison, Poison says, well, I have only been offered a place in one guild.
What guild is that?
I have only been offered a place in the guild of the Flumph. If I am to train, I would like to do it with the Flumphs.
I think about it, and since I'm connected with poison in some way, I kind of am like, I think that's the right choice. So I agree with poison, and I think I'm gonna do Flump.
What do you say as the teachers await your answer?
I say, well, me and my colleague have talked it out, and I think I'm gonna go with Flump.
At this, there is a roar from the Flumps, and it's genuine, heartfelt excitement coming from this group. And Tara smiles and gives Raketti a little nod, signifying maybe a little bit of rivalry over this decision, and says to you, the Guild of the Flump eagerly welcomes you both. You may go and stand under your banner.
I go to stand under the banner.
As you arrive at the banner, there are several Flump accessories, hats. There's a couple of bandanas, t-shirts. All of them have the guild crest on them. There's a couple of scarves, that sort of thing. Do you take anything?
I take a bandana.
As you take a bandana, Poison kind of slithers down into the thing and starts, like, you can see them moving around, like trying to find something for themselves. And they come up with a little, like, tiny bandana that's already kind of been tied for them, and they've kind of wiggled into it, and it's around their head, a few inches behind their jaw, and they curl up and they kind of climb back up on you and kind of wrap around your arm and are actively watching the room.
That's the cutest thing ever. I sort of put my bandana on to match, and can I go and join my guild now?
Yes, you are actually
okay.
at this point already actively with your guildies under the banner. And at 5:57, this is where we're going to take a slightly earlier bio break to give ourselves a brief break, and then we'll come back with the rest of the this evening's event, which we now know is referred to as, I'm sorry, I can't remember the word, and my scrolling is super slow. The placement. We will finish the placement after our break. Thank you. There we go. Now we're good. Welcome back. You know, you got to love Zoom. Somebody was always forgetting to unmute themselves. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right back into the rest of the presentation here. And as Moon settles in with the flumps, more names are called. And then Hanetta looks to the audience and speaks.
Our next student to join us on stage to be presented with her choice is Miss Stephanie Blackwell.
Stevie, how do you react?
I freeze. I don't want to go on stage in front of all these people. That's scary. I just kind of stand there and stare at her.
As you do this, the entire room waits for you.
Okay, now more people are looking at me. I go up.
As you go up and take your spot on the central brown carpet, without hesitation, Rad unfolds himself to his full height and steps forward. Ms. Blackwell, I offer you a place within the halls of the Guild of the Lich. And as this proclamation is made, the Lich begin their wails, and you notice that the two of the loudest leading the wails are the twins, Lex and Xavier. Rad quiets the group with a look and continues. Ms. Blackwell, I have felt your power personally. And after seeing what you were able to summon this evening without any training, I believe that as a lich, you would thrive and evolve the strength to be an immensely strong mage, the likes of which the evil would fear for years. Join us, and we shall teach you all that you need to gain the strength and the power you desire. He steps back and places his hands behind his back, awaiting the other offer to be made. Jade pops out of her chair and smiles. Stevie, you do have great magical power, but there is no doubt in that. But you also have great musical potential. Join me as I offer you a place in the Guild of the Medusa. And with this, the Medusas erupt in their hiss, and Jade continues over it. As a Medusa, you will learn to harness your magic through the power of music, to persuade, convince, and manipulate those that would serve the evil. With our help, you could be one of the greatest bards to walk the lands and a force for the evil to fear. She steps back to her spot on stage and places her hand in her jacket's pockets, her black horns held up high and proud, extruding confidence that you will choose her guild. Rad continues. Well, Miss Blackwell, the choice is yours.
Can I ask questions?
Yes. You are the first to attempt or even think of doing it, but you may ask questions.
You said the Guild of the Lich values death or something. Do I have to kill people?
Rad is taken aback for a moment because asking questions is, well, it's not allowed. It's very untraditional. And the entire group of teachers look at each other and at him and at the other students, and you get the vibe that this is very uncommon and very bold of you. And he says, Ms. Blackwell, no, we believe that death is part of the cycle. And so there is great power in it. But you are not required to kill. You are not required to embrace the powers of death.
Okay. And Jade, right?
And Jade nods.
Would I still be able to do all of like my programming and stuff? Because you said a bard, and I know I play violin, but I have other things I like too.
Yes, she says, we invite you to Medusa so that you can focus on the skills and magic within your music. You would not have to stop, but you would find eventually that the other things peel away.
Okay. And I sit back and contemplate for a moment because part of me feels like I'd fit perfectly into both of these guilds, and the other part of me feels like I wouldn't fit into either one of them. And I think, and then I choose the Guild of the Lich.
Rad takes a proud nod to you. And Jade stomps off in a very teenage huff. And Rad says, Miss Blackville, we are very happy to have you joining the Guild of the Lich. And there's an eruption of wailing behind him. He just waves his hand at it and it stops. He says, Stevie, you may take your place under the banner as the first Lich of the year. And you take a moment and realize that you are halfway through at this point, all of the students, and you are only the first Lich to join the Guild of the Lich. What do? You've been told to go off the stage.
I go. I don't want to be on stage anymore. Too many people are looking at me.
You quickly rush off the stage and you find, just like the others, a small wicker container, basket, if you will, of several different articles of Lich-themed attire. Do you take anything?
I take a hoodie and tie it around my waist.
Nice. Very cool. I appreciate that. As you do this, a few more students' names are called as you settle into your space in the Guild of the Lich. Before Zamora, you realize your name has been called and you didn't hear it because you were distracted by your own thoughts. What were you thinking about?
Not even gonna lie, I really have to go to the bathroom. I've had to go for a minute. But like I don't want to ask anyone because they're gonna be like, oh, she wants to go to the bathroom, you know? So I'm just trying to hold it in at this point.
As you're thinking all of it, you realize that everyone now is currently looking at you and waiting for you to do something.
I give them like a dirty look, like, what?
And one of the students near you who you've not really spoken to or said anything, she says, they called your name.
Oh, I like speed walk up the steps. Like, oops, my bad.
Zamora, you take your place in the central brown carpet on the stage, and both Jade and Raketti stand up. The Golden Eye teacher moves to take a position in front of you and speaks. Zamora, I offer you a position within the Guild of the Sphinx. At this, the Sphinx Guild applauds politely. They cheer with slightly less excitement as the night has drawn along. Zamora, your desire to protect and your strength to help those who need it, and then help further those who cannot help themselves. Your desire to protect those who would be taken advantage of, all of this is something that would fit well within the Guild of the Sphinx. Within the halls of the Sphinx, we could help you build the strength and skills to protect any person that you want by using your own bravery and talents to help them and take on the evil. Jade shakes her head, her black horns swinging. Zamora, I have seen your file, and that is why I offer you a position within the Guild of the Medusa. And the Medusas raise their hands and do their cheer, but this time they remain seated and are much easier to calm down because everybody's getting tired. Zamora, you understand the need for the corrupt, vile tools of the evil to be taken down a peg. And you have stolen their power from them already before. By joining Medusa, we can train your skills and sharpen your desire to protect others by tearing down the evil and its tools. You can do this on your own terms, in your own way, without anyone and no one to answer to. The choice is yours. Jade finishes and crosses her arms across her chest as she waits for your answer. They both look to you for an answer. Zamora, what are your thoughts? What is your choice?
Honestly, I don't know, because I'm here without my support system and I'm just alone in a place where I literally know nobody. And them being kind of not as excited to cheer me on as they were the earlier people kind of took a hit to the heart, even though I don't show it.
Zormar, I will clarify for you that is, you understand very fully the fact that it's well on like 10 o'clock at this point in the evening. And while it can be felt as personal and you are allowed to feel that way for sure, there is an element of it is late at this point.
Okay, but it's not too late for me because I'm me.
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know. Sphinx is cool. You know, we're the golden-eyed person. They were there for me when I took my test. They were there for me since the beginning. But what Jade said about like not having to rely on anybody and being able to do it myself is what really like pricked my ears, because I've had to do most of my life on my own with a little bit of help from everyone else, or from like Ray and the little girls at the home. And what Jade said makes it seem like I'm able to be independent, but still help what I want to help. And also, like, I hate authority because they suck. So I think that I'm going to go to the Guild of the Medusa.
How do you say this?
I turn to Jade. I say, I'm going to go here to the Guild of the Medusa. And I turn around to Sphinx and I say, I'm really sorry.
And the second you say, I'm the Guild of the Medusa, Jade is like jumping up and down. Jade's had a rough night. There are not a lot of Medusas right now. And she is so like visibly happy you've chosen her guild. And the Medusas behind her are hissing like nothing. They've standed, they've taken their feet, their hands are raised. They're doing the sign of the Medusa. They are super excited you've chosen their guild.
I do the sign back to them.
The nerd in me that designed that sign is so happy you're doing it. Then Jade says, calms herself, adjusts her jacket, and says, you may take your place under the banner of the Medusa.
I like wobble to the banner because I still have to go to the bathroom. So I'm kind of just like, okay.
Do you take anything out of the basket?
I take a fanny pack, but as I'm taking up the fanny pack, I like try to stuff things in it. The zipper, like trying to be slick about it.
So on brand. Zamora is stealing the free stuff. All right, cool. That's perfect. Thank you. That's so in character. And in fact, we haven't gotten a lot into mechanics, but that is so in character. Zamora, you can have inspiration. We'll talk more about that later. But that is just ridiculously on brand. So we continue. As Jade calms herself, takes her seat, Zamora walks away from them. Riquetti, the golden-eyed teacher, remains standing as Tara rises and joins him. Passing Jade, who's thrilled in her seat, Tara addresses the arena. Luna Limon Serpentine, join us, please.
Oh, God, here it is. I join them.
As you stand in the place marked for the initiates, Tara says, Luna, your passion for protecting the environment and its creatures makes you the perfect choice for the Guild of the Flump. By joining Flump, you can build your knowledge and ability to protect all the world's creatures, and indeed, the very world itself from the evil. Join us, and let us help you achieve your greatest potential. Tara steps back, allowing Riquetti to take the stage. Riquetti steps forward. Luna, your passion for knowledge is why I offer you a place in the Guild of the Sphinx. Join the Sphinx, and we can offer you centuries of knowledge and research that you can use to train and educate yourself so that you may work against the evil. Tara steps forward, looking at you, Luna, and asks, the choice is yours, Luna. Which guild shall you join?
See, I both vibe with these messages. I know Tara better though, but I still don't know if I should give her another chance. I'm not. Kind of look between them. Sphinx looks very interesting. There's a lot I could learn there, but I don't know I mean, they don't even have like a chant or anything. They just sit there and clap, man. Like, what do they do? Like, I mean, I love reading as much as the next guy, but is that all they do all day? Like, come on. So I kind of look at Tara, and I like she she better not betray me again. And I go, I choose Flump.
And you watch Tara's face brighten as you say this. And she says, I am thrilled that you have chosen the Guild of the Flump. And the Flumps erupt again in the Flumpian cheer, loud, boisterous animal calls. You are sure you hear like a cockatoo call, and there's a lion call somewhere in there. They've lost it. And she gestures to the banner of the Guild of the Flump and says, you may join your fellow guildmates under the banner of the Flump.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, they're so loud. Oh gosh. But this is better. Sphinx would have been such a boring reaction. I'm so glad they respect me. So I kind of jump down the stage, and I go over to the banner. And what do they have again? They have anything.
I mean, if you want it, it's most likely there. Shirts, hats, scarves, bandanas.
Yeah, I'll get a scarf.
The scarf you take out, because they're flumps, is a hand-knit scarf. Most likely made by one of your future guildmates that is sitting up in the stands right now.
I respect that. Handmade is good. I don't support corporations. That's not ethical. That's good, and I agree. This is the right spot.
As you settle in amongst the Guild of the Flump, Elia, you remain at this point after several names are called, much like in a locker room, the last remaining initiate. The audience has grown very quiet, the quietest it has been all night, and you can feel all eyes in the arena and indeed the space on you. And this is all you can feel. The weightlessness and the connection you felt to the air before did not return when you entered the arena. From somewhere overhead, Amelia crows, breaking the silence. Henita rises after having not said much for quite a while and addresses the arena.
Elia Kingston, it has been quite some time since we have seen a display such as yours from an initiate. You have impressed myself and most of the faculty. I'm sure that many of the students here would want someone with such raw potential in their guild. But we do not break with tradition easily. After much deliberation, 2 guilds will present an option to you. You may take your place on the stage.
Elia, what do you do?
Oh boy, I stride on up there. She's got my ego through the roof.
You take your place on the stage in the central brown carpet. And as tension fills the room, everyone awaits the first teacher to offer you a place in their guild. Several of the teachers' chairs creak impossibly loud in this large space. Elia, it feels like an eternity passes. And just about when you are ready to say something yourself, Ferg stands. And as he does, the Guild of the Dragon erupts in its war cries. He holds up a quick fist, and the dragons quiet instantly. Elia Kingston, I offer you a place in the Guild of the Dragon. And this causes the dragons to call out again and again. Ferg holds up his fist and silences them. Elia, you showed in the arena an amazing affinity for elemental casting. It is uncommonly strong for someone as untrained as you. Join the Guild of the Dragon, and we will train you how to harness your power and how to use it to rend the evil from this earth. Ferg steps back, proud of his words. and the tension fills the room again as the audience awaits the second teacher to offer their guild offer.
Come on. Who's next? Come on.
As you watch, you begin to hear a soft hiss. You take a moment to look from where it's coming from. You look over in the shadows where the Medusas are sitting, and no one seems to be making any noise. And you follow its source to Jade, who's hissing herself. She slowly rises up, and the Medusas join her as she moves. She smooths her hair and her shirt while she stands, and her red skin continues to glow in the stage light. She does a sharp head nod, channeling her rock and roll roots in the guild quiets. Alaya, I offer you a home in the guild of the Medusa. In a reaction, all the Medusas stand and make the gesture of the Medusa and hiss in a low volume under Jade's speech. Alaya, the Medusas believe that by stealing the evil's power slowly over time, we weaken it in preparation for the inevitable war to come. Join us, and we can enhance your already natural skills and help you to be one of the greatest thieves the guild has ever seen. And with that, a true hero against the evil. Hinata rises and says,
Alaya, the final guild choice is yours to make.
I keep looking back and forth to both Ferg and Jade. Not really sure. I already have a connection to Jade, but enhancing the elemental powers that I felt before also interests me a lot. But then again, I am really good at stealing. I look up at Amelia and see if she gives me any sign of what she wants me to go to.
You can't see her. The lights are blinding you currently and can't make out where she is. All you can hear is a caw.
Okay.
And that is all you hear. The entire arena has grown completely silent, awaiting your answer.
Medusa.
With this, I mean, you thought Jade was excited for Zamora. Jade has to physically control herself from doing one of those "got you" or "got you" to Ferg. She runs up and she hugs you. This is the most human, most unprofessional moment of all of the teachers. And she is so excited. The Medusas are like hissing and stomping. It sounds a little like the beginning of We Will Rock You. And even the other guilds at this point are respectfully doing their own cheers for the fact that not just you've chosen Medusa, but also that the night's over, and the final guild has been chosen. Jade collects herself, steps back, brushes herself off, and says, Alaya, welcome to the Guild of the Medusa. You may take your place under the banner of the Medusa.
Proudly. I walk over and stand right under it.
Do you take anything out of the basket?
Oh, what's in it again?
Hats, beanies, scarves, apparently fanny packs, hoodies, t-shirts.
I'll take a scarf.
Takes out a scarf, puts it on. Love it. And as you do this, and then Alaya joins his guild, Hinata addresses the entire arena again.
Students, welcome the newest recruits to Argonaut Academy.
The whole school cheers and erupts in their specific cheers. After a moment of this, Hinata does her 2-clap, and the school responds in echo and silences itself. Hinata addresses the room one final time.
It has been a long evening. At this point, you are no longer initiates. You are now, officially, the recruits of 2012. Your student guild captains will leave you to your temporary rooms for the evening. In the morning, you will take the last of the first steps through your awakening. Your teacher guild leaders will bring you to their guild hall and fully unleash your power. To the rest of the school, go and sleep well. For tomorrow morning, your recruits join you and your classes begin. Go now, and may your eyes be always open.
And as she says this, the entire school responds in kind with, may your eyes be always open. There's a commotion in the stands as the students begin to file out of the arena above you. It's actually comforting to watch because the students leave, and as they leave, they look like any group of high school students filling out after an assembly. It's very mundane how they appear. You all stand with your new guild members, awaiting someone who will lead you on. As you look around, I need to adjust my view here. You notice this. At this point, the number of recruits, which is your new title, has about 35, not including you all. Standing with the new flumps that are members of our group are 7 more. They're all getting to know each other, being very kind. I'm just got to check my notes. Moon, several of them want to talk to you, but not just you. They want to talk to Poison. They want to hold Poison. They're a little kind of like, they're very excited about you and this snake. It's very, very cute, very sweet. You look over at the Sphinxes, which do not have any of you as members. And this is a very bookish looking group. They're huddled together in the middle kind of the arena. They've moved from the side where everyone else is to the middle to be kind of away from everyone. And they're all talking very much amongst themselves. The Guild of the Dragon is giving high fives all around. They're very much doing the dude bro kind of thing. There's some chest bumps happening. A few of them are slapping Luke on the back, like, great job with the axe, man. They're super excited that you picked up an axe. And they're bragging about how they think they've got the strongest recruits this year. Amongst the Medusas, they're all a little scattered. They're all in their area, but none of them are really kind of talking to each other. Guitar Boy, who you met way at the beginning on the steps, is in this group, and he's kind of like found a spot on the floor and is just playing his guitar, waiting for the next thing to happen. And Zamora and Elia, what are you doing as this kind of hodgepodge grouping of Medusas are around?
I'm not there. I am in the bathroom because I waited for so long. I had to go.
You did. You ran out, down the gangway, into the locker room. You're probably coming back as we move on here in just a second. Elia, there's a few Medusas they're looking a little intimidated by you, but you could see them eyeballing you like, yeah, we got Elia. We got a strong group.
I look at them and I go, please, no flash photography. And I walk over to Jade and I'm like, hey, so what do we do now?
So Jade's still standing on stage, working with the other teachers. If you were to address her, you'd have to walk all the way across the arena onto the stage and then interrupt an entire group of adults.
I'm doing that.
As you do this, this is perfect. As you do this, the girl with the tight blonde ponytail that you saw bouncing while everyone's setting up walks to the edge of the stage, holds her hand out and says, no, don't interrupt them.
Okay. And then I just walk past her, going up the stairs.
And she says, recruit, stop.
I'm sorry, are you a teacher?
I'm your guild captain.
I'm so sorry. I walked down the stairs and I put my hand out to shake her hand.
She shakes your hand, giving it a pretty solid squeeze, and says, you can wait with the rest of the recruits. We'll be with you in a moment. And turns her back on you and walks over to the rest of the adults.
Sorry. Then I awkwardly kind of walk back to the rest of the Medusas.
All right. Luke, with the dragons, what are you doing?
Honestly, I've found my people. I'm like high-fiving everyone. I'm like, dude, like, I know, like, I just felt so drawn to the axe. Like, I knew that was the perfect choice. yeah, just kind of having conversation with everyone.
Perfect. And Luna and Moon with the Guild of the Flump, what are you doing? This is a very friendly group right now. They're all trying to get to know each other, exchanging names. Let's start with Luna. What are you doing?
Oh God, there's so much. It's too much. Oh, I mean, they have a vibe that I get behind, but it's a lot. Little glad that Poison is getting the most attention.
Poison is definitely getting the most attention out of the whole group. So Moon, let's go to you. How are you reacting to that?
I think it's a nice group of people, but they're starting to get a little too nice. So I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm letting them kind of get near Poison, because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Someone actually cares about me now, but I kind of realize that they're not really caring about me. They care more about my snake. So I'm kind of just like, kind of going like, ha ha, and like trying to back my way away from the crowd because I'm getting a little too congested.
As you start to give off the vibe that you think that they're more interested in the snake than you, several of them like purposefully address you to make you feel welcome, and not that they're just here to talk to the snake. And as we get that, we move to the Guild of the Lich. There are only 4 members of the Guild of the Lich this year. One of them being our very own Stevie. Most of them are currently comparing their technology with one another. They've pulled out their phones, their tablets, and one of them has pulled out a very old book. Stevie, what are you doing as the rest of your guild talks?
I'm afraid to walk up to them because more than like one person scary, but I know in my head, I'm like, I know more about technology than any of you. So I walk up to them and I pull out my tablet and I just start showing them up. Like,
your tablet is by far the newest, the highest tech out of all of them, and it's the most personalized. You have done the most tinkering with it than of anyone else. And they're all very impressed, except for the boy with the book. He is giving you a ton of attitude. And you realize that this boy with the book is the boy with the popped polo shirt collar, who had talked a lot about being a legacy and his sibling who came before him. And you can tell that he's already eyeing you and what you can do. After a few moments with your guilds. Oh, did you want to go ahead if you have something to say?
I was just going to be like, I like your book.
As you say this, he closes it and puts it into his leather satchel. And while he's doing that, that's a perfect transition. Okay. 5 students approach you all. Actually, they approach the edge of the stage. And they are all wearing several different things. I'm describing in a second, but you get clearly from the vibe of them that you should come to them. And Elia, you recognize the blonde girl who told you she was your guild captain. And she's eyeballing you and she gives you one of those like, come here.
I walk right over. Like, I don't want to mess with this girl anymore.
Wonderful. This is a very motley crew of people. And they address you from the edge of the stage. The tallest is a green-skinned girl. She stands in the center. She wears a pair of tailored blue pants and hiking boots with a tucked-in white shirt with gold pinstripes and a blue necktie and a blue cardigan slung over her shoulder. Her hair is braided and falls over the other shoulder that her sweater is not slung over. On her wrist, she wears a simple silver bracelet and a leather belt with a silver belt buckle on it in the shape of a shield. The most noticeable thing about her, though, isn't her clothes or even her green skin. It is her teeth. She has 4 very prominent teeth in her bottom row that protrude from her lip, and her bottom canines extend well past her upper lip. She smiles at you, a warm, welcoming smile in spite of her ferocious-looking teeth. The girl reaches up and loosens her tie. Well, recruits, we are your guild captains, the students in charge of your guild under your guild leader. She's clearly trying to explain to you the hierarchy of the school very quickly. We help the leader and guide you all and do pretty much whatever's needed of us. We're going to introduce ourselves and take our guildies with us to the guest cabins where you'll stay for tonight while your rooms and your guild houses are set up for tomorrow. I am Clara Zoltov of the Guild of the Sphinx, and if my Sphinx kittens will follow me, we will congregate by the Sphinx banner as we wait for everyone to be ready. Clara steps off the raised stage with a solid thud as her body lands in the dust of the arena like a tree falling in the forest. Next up, a perky blonde girl steps forward. She wears a plaid skirt in the gray and green tones of the Guild of the Medusa. Her blonde hair is pulled tight in a high ponytail that bobs a little as she moves, and she unzips her dark green leather jacket that is tailored to fit tight to her, revealing a plain gray dress shirt underneath. She wears simple black leather shoes that look almost like slippers, and she puts her hands on her hips while looking directly at Alaya. Good evening, all. I'm Hannah Thomas, guild captain for the Medusas. I can see that my snakelets are all spread out about the group. If you can meet me by our banner, I'll take a head count and we can be on our way, okay? And with that, Hannah hops off the stage gently and makes absolutely zero sound upon landing, even in the coarse dirt of the arena. She continues to stride confidently and quietly over to the Medusa banner. As Hannah heads to the Medusa banner on the outside of the arena, the short boy that looks about the size of a tall toddler walks to the edge of the stage. He has patchy brown scruff of a teenager desperately trying to grow a beard, but can't, and a short brown crew cut to match. He wears a tan copperish pants and a white dress shirt, a matching leather vest, and a red kerchief. He speaks to the collected group. Hi, everyone. I'm Pierre Chevalier, Guild of the Dragon captain. I'll meet all my wormlings over by the dragon banner over there. And as he finishes, he clumsily climbs down off of the stage, landing on his butt in the gravel, and quickly scampers up and runs across the arena to the dragon banner. The dragon girl, with black scales, steps forward, her tail swinging to counterbalance her movements, and she stands, her hands folded in front of her. She is dressed in loose, flowing, dark plum, priest-like robes, and stops, looking over the group. I am Reaper, the Guild of the Lich Captain, and I welcome you all to Argonaut Academy. School here is tough, but we do good work. I hope all of you do well. I'll meet the few of my specters joining us tonight by our banner. She gracefully jumps down and walks over to her banner to await her guild members. The cat boy starts to wheel to the edge of the stage in his cutting-edge looking wheeled chair. His fur is that of a snow leopard and looks soft and well kept. He wears hiking shorts and a white polo shirt with a light yellow fleece vest. As he wheels in front of you, you can see that the boy has a woven blanket over his lap in the guild's white and yellow colors covering his legs. The phoenix that has been with him sits on the back of his slightly high-backed chair and watches over him as he stops at the edge of the stage. Evening all. I'm the last captain, so the rest of you must be my recruits. I'm Charles Wu, and I'm the guild captain for the Guild of the Flump. If my Fefra can meet me over there by the Flump banner, we can head out to the cabin soon. As the new Flumps begin to move to the banner, Charles presses a few buttons on this console of his chair, and 8 spindly spider legs extend from the base of his chair, and they operate perfectly to climb down from the stage and then retract, and he wheels over to the Flump banner. You've all been told where to go. What do you do?
So my past experience with being in a group of people with someone who's clearly in charge is like dinner parties with my father. And I've been taught that at dinner parties, you're expected to bring a gift. So I walk up to Reaper and I take off one of the many rings that I'm wearing. And I'm like, hi, I think this would look nice with your robes. Do you want it?
And she, who's significantly taller than you by about a head, holds out her hand and looks at it and says, honey, you don't have to give me anything. You can keep your ring.
No, you can take it. It's okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll hold on to it for you. When you need it or want it back, you can just ask. And she kind of sticks it in an inner like pocket in her robes.
I'm slightly offended that she doesn't put it on.
I love it. Anyone else? You've been told where to go.
I lean over to Samora and I'm like, where do we go again?
And you can see Hannah standing underneath the banner that you all just left to come stand by the stage.
I think she wants us to go back to where she literally called us from.
Good idea. Let's go over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Luke?
I have a question. Are we like all in the same space right now, but just in different areas of it?
Yeah. So imagine, if you will, like when you're in a gym and everybody congregates in the middle, and then someone says, go stand in this corner, go stand in that corner. That's exactly what's happening right now, except you're sitting in the corners of a round circle.
Okay. I'm going to start heading towards where I need to go. And then I'm going to turn back and look at Elia and be like, I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, see ya.
Wonderful. Let's see. Moon and Lumina, haven't heard from you yet. What are you doing right now?
I have to join the cat boy, really?
Yeah.
Okay. At least I can see that Moon also feels a little overwhelmed with all these people. So I kind of go over to her and I'm like, you sure you want to do this?
I'm kind of glad that someone's talking to me and not Poison. So I'm like, I don't know, man, because Moon and I clearly have the same feelings about this, and I can kind of get her vibe that she's like, what's happening? So I really, I don't know.
This is so weird. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. It's been a weird day.
As you all slowly make your way to your guild captains. After a few moments, the groups begin to head out, with the leaders mingling among them, as Charles, in his chair, leads the entire group out of the arena through the door of the locker room you originally entered through. When you get outside, it is dark. At the head of the line, Charles turns on a pair of headlights on his wheelchair, and his phoenix ignites, giving everyone a point of light at the front of the group. Among the groups, the guild captains all do different things to help provide light. Hannah and Reaper grab actual torches from a bin on the way out of the locker room, and they light them using an old Zippo lighter from Hannah's pocket. Pierre pulls a red beanie out of his pocket, mumbles some words to it, and it lights up with a golden light, and he places it on his head. At the end of the group, Clara fishes in her sweater pocket, and after she pulls out. I'm sorry. Let me try that again. She puts her sweater on, then fishes in her pocket, and pulls out a tiny toy helicopter. She tinkers with a few things on it after a few moments and then lets it go. It hovers around her and begins to emit a gentle blue light, and continues to follow her as she walks. As you all walk, the guild captains have made it clear that you are going on a short hike to your cabins for the evening. These are visitors' cabins. These are not your permanent residents. I would like you all to make a perception check. Elia, if you need to go turn your light on, you can do that And what I want you to do is go ahead and drop your number in the chat. I'm going to explain very quickly for those who are not D&D players what a perception check is. It's a mechanic within the game that'll help us know which of these characters see or notice something in the next few moments. So if you could drop your checks in the chat. Everyone's going to learn something. The something you learn will be different based on your number. Perfect. Moon, is that a crit or is that a total 20? Was it a 20 on the die? It was a nat 20. Perfect. So in D&D, if you're unfamiliar, 20 is the highest you can roll on a D20 roll, very obviously, and is considered a critical in certain circumstances. I like to roll perception checks as a potential critical. So Moon is going to learn way more than absolutely anybody else. The rest of you are going to learn some different things at different degrees. It looks like Luke is going to be the only one that learns that notices this first bit here. So with your 2, Luke, you are hiking through the forest. And the students are all tired after a very long day of assessment and then the placement. And while there are many whispered conversations, you can't really make out anything very specific. As you continue to hike the forest, the serene sounds of the forest in the evening begin to calm you. And an almost sleepwalking state falls over you as you make your way, following the guild captains, to your cabin. How do you feel in this very relaxed state?
I feel good. I'm like kind of tired after standing under that banner for so long. And now I'm ready to drop. I'm ready to get in that cabin, find a bed, get some sleep. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Luna, Stevie, and Alaya are all going to get this next little bit. As you walk, you're feeling tired and you zone out for most of the conversations that are near you. But those that you do hear are all rather boring. However, as you walk, you do make out the sound of howling in the distance. Having heard this, you may make a nature check to see if you can deduce anything based on this sound. As they're rolling, nature checks are used similar to perception to see if they learn something. This would be something specifically based off of natural things like animals, plants, things like that. Luna is the only one who's going to notice this or even be able to put this together. Luna, you hear this howl. It is very definitely and definitively the howl of a wolf. As someone who has studied a lot of nature and biology, especially in the state of California, you know that there are no longer any wolves that are native to the Tahoe Basin, and there have not been wolves in this area for almost a century.
This is amazing. I never thought I'd see a wolf here ever. I'm like suddenly like I'm really happy like for the first time today. That's amazing.
Very cool. I love that very positive and excited reaction. Cool. Let's see. So then we continue. And this is kind of fun, awesome. Zamora, you are going to be the only one who hears or notices this part. With your 16, you overhear a conversation between Lucius, the Guild of the Lich member who had the book, who's Mr. Popped Collar, who's now a member of the Guild of the Lich. He carries his leather satchel and is talking to one of the blonde girls from the initial group that you, and this girl is also one of the few members of the Guild of the Lich. As the day has gone by, this one girl has appeared like she didn't really fit into that initial group. As she's shown more and more of her true self. She's now dressed in yoga pants and a white tank top and rubs her arms trying to keep herself warm from the mountain chill. Lucius seems to be talking about how he had known that he would be a lich and that it was his father's training and preparation that led him to be successful. You also overhear him saying that he can't believe that upstart Elia got all the attention when he himself was actually able to make himself go invisible to sneak past that stupid rat. You are the only one who hears this.
I got kind of annoyed because, listen, Elias is my homeboy. He was the only one that talked to me when I came back from the bathroom. I've decided that I'll let him be my friend. So my ears hear this, and I'm like, do they deceive me? They don't. So I kind of turn around and I give him a dirty look, like, and I say, you better watch your mouth before I watch it for you. And I turn around and keep on walking.
Can I butt in for a second?
Yeah, go for it. You can say something before he does.
I asked more, what did they do?
Don't worry about it. Just keep on walking.
Okay.
As you all continue to move through, Moon, with her crit, is going to be the only one who hears the rest of this. As you walk, you notice that Hannah and Reaper are walking together in the center of the group, with Clara at the back of the group and Charles and Pierre in the front. Their demeanor, Hannah and Reaper, is tense. It's more tense than you think for a typical night hike, and you catch bits and pieces of Hannah and Reaper's conversation. Hannah says, "Did you hear the rumors coming from the school in the Catskills? That their teachers were attacked last week? While they were prepping, Baya," and Reaper cuts her off. "There's no proof that those creatures were not just roaming the mountains." Hannah shakes her head in a much more hushed tone, whispers, "Honestly, Reaper, you are smarter than that. Those creatures attacked that school, and you don't think that they were being controlled by..." Reaper cuts her off again. "There is no point in speculating. Until anyone knows more, we move on like normal. It is most important, whether the rumors are true or not, that we train and we learn more." Hannah thinks a moment. "I guess you're right. It's just that combined with the tidal wave in the Philippines and all the fires and the violence across the globe, I mean, things seem on edge, like the rumors might be right." It's now Reaper's turn to think, and after a moment, she shakes her head. "We cannot worry about that. We are in the you were in the captain's meeting. We're increasing patrols across the grounds. All fifth years are going to be staying on site and not doing their year abroad. We're doing all that we can, and that's all that we can do." They both look at each other and seem to settle into their own contemplation as they continue to walk in the center of the pack. You also hear, deeper into the forest, the sounds of groups of what you're pretty sure are students, several of them in different directions, surrounding you as if they are these patrolling students that you heard about. After a brief hike, you come into a clearing in the woods. The trees hang and create a canopy that almost blocks out the sky, even though the clearing is quite large. As you reach this point, Moon, you've heard all of this. Do you say anything? Do you do anything?
I'm tempted to say something and be like, what was that all about? But I kind of keep it to myself because I feel like not completely unsafe, but I'm worried now because I just kind of was starting to feel comfortable here, and now I'm like, is there something bigger than what's already happening?
As you all look in this space that you've come to, there are 5 cabins all arranged together. They're all long rectangles and arranged so that their long sides all create almost a pentagon shape. The doors open up into the center of the space where a communal campfire and benches feature. Outside, the cabins are identical, except that each one has one of the guild crests on the door. Pierre and Charles move to the fire pit where Charles's phoenix glides down and nestles in the logs. They're starting a nice warm fire and snuggling into it the way a cat would a blanket. Charles speaks to the group. "Pierre, Igneous, and I will take first watch. Flumps and Dragons, you'll find your things in your cabins along with some uniforms. Get some rest." He wheels his chair to an open spot in the circle of benches around the fire and pulls out a textbook. While Pierre looks like he thinks he should say something, opts not to and sits opposite Charles in the circle, pulling out a long rod of wood and a knife, which he begins to carve and whittle with. What do you do at this point?
Can we go into the cabins?
Yes, most definitely. I just want to know if you're planning on going straight to the cabins. It's been a very long day, so you can go straight to the cabins, or you could hang out here and sit at the campfire and talk to the two gentlemen, or the only two who are going to probably stay here, because you've noticed the rest of the guild, your new guildies, are all headed towards their cabins.
Okay. I'm going to look at the people who are gathering around the fire, just think like, should I join them? But then I realize that I'm just too tired. And so I just opt not to, and I go into one of the cabins.
Luna?
Oh, I don't know how I feel about, settling in, but I'm done talking. I'm done socializing. I'm not going to be found just alone with these two guys, so I go in the cabins.
Zamora?
I also go in the cabins because honestly, it's been a really long day and I'm
It
just
has.
super tired.
It's near on midnight at this point.
Yeah. Lots of
Luna?
emotions too.
Sorry.
So I'm drained.
Thank you, Zamora. Moon?
I go to the cabin. Me and Poison are both exhausted. She's already asleep, like right here. So it's time to go to bed.
So cute. Luke?
I'm as tired as anyone else is, but I kind of want to sit out by the fire for a little bit, get some fresh air.
Okay. Stevie?
I've never been one to socialize, so I'm not going to go sit by the fire, but I'm also a night owl and I'm not quite ready to go to bed yet. So I'm going to go sit right outside the door to my cabin and just start playing some violin songs to myself.
Cool. Stevie and Luke spent some time outside, kind of on their own. Most everyone else leads back. And after about 20, 30 minutes, your guild captains encourage you to go back into the cabin, saying, we don't necessarily want to force you, but we do have a lights out policy and we at least need you in your rooms. So you do get some time out in your space where you want to kind of decompress, but they do eventually push you in that direction. Let's see. Perfect. You enter the cabin and it's a rather typical camp cabin. There are several bunk beds all covered with sheets and blankets in your guild colors. Next to the door is the only single bed, and your guild captain quickly settles down onto it, watching the room. They tell you that your belongings have been placed on a bed, but that you may switch beds with anyone willing, if you would like. The beds line the outer walls of the room, and as you move about, settling in, you notice in the center is an old-style trunk. It's in the very center of the room. It's made of old dark wood with iron accents and a strong iron lock. And branded on the lid is your guild's crest. You all set in for a very good night's rest. And with it, having been a long day and a trying day, both mentally and physically, sleep comes easily. Sometime before dawn, you are shocked awake to the sound of shrieks and rapid movement. For several of you, there is a sound of a door opening and slamming shut and being locked from the outside. You look at the window and you see Hannah and Reaper standing on opposite sides of the fire between them and their backs. They are facing off against two of the largest wolves you have ever seen. These wolves are easily the size of elephants with pure white coats and ice blue eyes. They stare down the wolves. Hannah shouts over her shoulder, "What was that about rumors, Scales?" Reaper takes an aggressive boxer stance and says, "Not now, Blondie." And that's where we'll stop for the evening. Oh, sorry. Scroll all the way to minding. Join us next week as our students will have their first meetings with their new guild leaders and have their true power unleashed. What is going to happen around the campfire? How is the unleashing of their power going to change them? And what secrets are there to still be revealed? Tune in next week to discover all of this and more on Argonauts Awoken. Now, before you leave, if you're still with me, we have for our super fans a BuzzFeed quiz, which will put you into a house based on your questions, into a guild. So if you'd like, it's going to be up in the chat in just a few moments. You can go ahead and take our quiz and share in the comments of this episode which guild you are placed into.